Greetings my fellow knights and welcome back to Recon by Fire. For today's battle, Zach is bringing his Space Wolves in the Stormlance detachment. They are led by Logan Grimnar alongside 5 Terminators, Arjac leading 5 Terminators, 2x6 squads of Thunderwolf Cav, a 3-man squad of Thunderwolf Cav, 5 Infiltrators, 2x5 Scouts, a Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, Bjorn, and 2 Vindicators. Steve is bringing his freshly painted Drukhari in the Kabalite Cartel detachment. He is running Lady Malys and 3 Archons, 1 with the Huskblade enhancement, all running with 10-man squads of Kabalite Warriors. Lelith accompanied by 5 Witches, and 5 more Witches that are split into a Venom. Drazar leading a 5-man squad of Incubi, a 3-man squad of Reavers, 5 Mandrakes, 2x5 Scourges, a Ravager, a Raider, and 2 more Venoms. We're playing on Mission Pack Kilo today, which is Scorched Earth. Deployment is Search and Destroy, and we are playing on terrain layout number 3. We have some pre-game actions, and the Warrior Squad will redeploy to screen out the Thunderwolf Cav along the northern edge. The second squad of Warriors will move away from the Space Wolves deployment zone. Space Wolves will then scout their scouts towards the Drukhari deployment zone, and the second squad towards the Drukhari Raider. Drukhari will select Logan and the Terminators as their first contract. Top of round 1, and the Space Wolves are going first. They will draw established locus and a tempting target, which is the southern objective, as their secondaries for the turn. Bjorn will generate an additional command point, and Oath of Moment will be Malys and company. Start of the movement phase, and Zach will immediately spend 2 CP on full throttle, allowing his Thunderwolf Cav to auto advance 9 inches, making them move 21 inches towards the Drukhari deployment line. Logan and the Terminators will inch forward towards the center, just towing in to establish locus. Bjorn will move into the nearby building. Thunderwolf Cav will advance 6 inches towards the Mandrakes. Combi Lieutenant will advance 4 inches to get onto the natural expansion. Scouts along the center of the battlefield will advance 6 inches to get up against the Venom and the Raider. The second Scout Squad will advance 5 inches to get up against the other Venom and Ravager. Second brick of Thunderwolf Cav are unable to pass over the Warriors and will move as far forward as possible. Vindicator moves up against the table edge and will follow the Thunderwolf Cav. Second Vindicator will simply stage for next turn. Arjac and the Terminators arrive from Deep Strike onto the Drukhari natural expansion. Start of the shooting phase, Bjorn will fire into the Warriors and picks up 2 of them. Vindicator fires into the other squad of Warriors and picks up 2 as well. It's charge o'clock, and the 3-man Thunderwolf Cav squad will make the 6-inch charge into the Mandrakes. Bjorn will make the 5-inch charge into the Warrior squad. The Scout squad will make the dual charge into both the Venom and the Raider. Second Scouts will also make their charge into both the Venom and the Ravager. The Thunderwolf Cav brick will make their charge into Malys with a 6. The second brick will make their charge into the Warriors with a 7. 6-man brick of Thunderwolf Cav will swing into Malys and company, picking up the entire squad. They will then proceed to consolidate into the Raider. Bjorn will make short work of the 3 remaining Warriors on the objective and consolidate onto it. Thunderwolf Cav will pick up 2 of the Mandrakes and take 2 damage on the crackback. Scout Squad swings into the Venom, dealing 2 damage, taking 0 on the crackback, and the remainders swing into the Raider, dealing 0 damage but taking 1 on the crackback. Second set of Scouts will swing into the Venom, dealing 3 damage and take 0 on the crackback, and the remainder will swing into the Ravager, also dealing 0 damage but taking 1 for their troubles. Finally, the Thunderwolf Cav will pick up the remaining Warriors in front of the Vindicator and will consolidate onto the nearby objective. That's going to end an absolutely brutal turn 1 with the Space Wolves scoring 2 points for establishing Locust and 5 points for earning a tempting target. If you're enjoying the video thus far, it would be absolutely fantastic if you took a moment to like the video and share it with a friend for us. Bottom of round 1 for the Drukhari, and they will draw Assassination and Cleanse as their secondaries for the turn. Warriors will sticky the home objective. Start of the movement phase, and the Mandrakes will fall back from the Thunderwolf Cav and into the building. Scourges will also move into the building to give them line of sight into Bjorn. Ravagers are going to move towards the southern table edge to have line of sight into the Thunderwolf Cav. Warriors on the home objective will reposition to make sure the Dark Lances have line of sight. Archon with the Warriors will disembark the Venom. Using the Raider's ability, Lelith and company will disembark 6 inches from the Raider. Raider will then fall back in hopes of move blocking the second wave of Thunderwolf Cav. Venom will then fall back into the nearby building in support of the Mandrakes. Archon and the Warriors will disembark the second Venom. It will then fall back onto the home objective. The Scourges will move back into the building but maintain line of sight into the Thunderwolf Cav. Lelith and the Witches will make a beeline towards Logan and the Terminators. Space Wolves will spend a command point to trigger their reactive move, and Logan will move back 6 inches. At the start of the shooting phase, the Reavers will fire into the Thunderwolf Cav, scoring a single wound. Warriors will spend a pain token and fire the Dark Lance into Bjorn. He will make his invul, and the remaining shots into the nearby scouts, picking them up and refunding the pain token. Scourges will burn a pain token to fire into the Thunderwolf Cav, and they make all but one of their invul saves. Oof. The Ravager will fire everything into the same unit and scores 2 wounds. Warrior Squad will fire into them, picking up one of them and wounding another. Archon and the Warriors fire into the same squad and manage to pick up 2 more. Man, they are durable. Scourges will split fire, dealing 0 damage to Bjorn, but picking up one of the Cav. It's time for charges, and Lelith will make it into Logan with an 8. Archon into the Thunderwolf Cav fails with a 4, free command reroll thanks to its captain ability, and it fails with another 4. On the other hand, the second Archon rolls a 9 to make it into the Thunderwolf Cav. And the third Archon will roll a 12 on their charge to make it into the Scouts. Archon and company will swing into the Scouts and manage to take down 4 of them. The surviving Chainblade will swing back and manages to pick up 2 of the Warriors. Lelith will then go Super Saiyan and attempt to precision out Logan, but unfortunately only scores 2 wounds. The rest of the Witches swing into the Terminators and take one of them down. The Crackback proves quite vicious and picks up all the Witches, but Lelith will survive. Archon and the Warriors swing into the Thunderwolf Cav and only score 3 wounds. Unfortunately, they will pay for their failure in blood, and 4 of the Warriors die in return. At the end of combat, the Mandrakes will hop back into the nearby Venom. That is going to end the turn for the Drukhari. They will discard both Cleanse and Assassination for a command point. Top of round 2 for the Space Wolves, and they will draw Area Denial and Marked for Death as their secondaries for the turn. Marked for Death targets are the Ravager, the Venom, and the Scourges. They control 2 objectives and will score 10 points on primary. Bjorn will farm an additional command point, and the Oath of Moment is the Ravager. Start of the movement phase, and Logan will fall back towards the center of the field. The final scout is battle shocked and will earn the Drukhari a pain token. Arjac and the Terminators will advance 11 inches towards the Ravager. Thunderwolf Cav will fall back, and the large brick of Thunderwolf Cav will move in on the Raider. Vindicator will move forward along the board edge to gain line of sight. Remaining Thunderwolf Cav will move in on the Scourges. Bjorn will move up behind the Thunderwolf Cav. Vindicator will push forward around the building to gain line of sight. Infiltrators are going to reposition outside of the building. Drukhari will rapid ingress the Incubi behind enemy lines. Start of the shooting phase, and Bjorn will fire into the Scourges, picking up one of them. Vindicator will fire into the Ravager, and it survives at a single wound. Thunderwolf Cav will burn a command point and chuck a grenade at the Ravager, and down it goes. Second Vindicator fires the Hunter Killer into the Venom and picks it up. Demolisher Cannon goes into the Warriors and picks up all but the Sergeant and the Archon. It's time for charges again, and we start off by Logan making his charge into Lelith. Bjorn will fail his charge with a 3 command reroll, and he makes it into the Reavers with a 7. Thunderwolf Cav are into the Scourges with a 4. Thunderwolf Cav make the charge back into the Warriors. Large Brick of Thunderwolf Cav make the charge into the Raider. Arjac and the Terminators charge the Warriors, and they're in. Lelith will fight first, sending all of her attacks into Logan, but he survives at a single wound. Crackback is lethal, and down goes Lelith. Arjac swings into the Archon, and it will survive at a single wound. The rest of the squad will swing into the Warriors and picks up 4 of them. Thunderwolf Cav pick up the final Warrior and leave the Archon at 3 wounds. Large Brick of Thunderwolf Cav pick up the Raider. Bjorn and his Claw make short work of the Reavers. Nearby Thunderwolf Cav will swing into the Scourges, and one actually survives. Archon swings into the Thunderwolf Cav, but they make all of their saves. Archon and the Warriors swing back into the Terminators and picks up one of them. The surviving Scourge and Venom swing into the Thunderwolf Cav, but no joy. That is going to end the turn for the Space Wolves. They will score 5 points for Mark for Death and 5 points for Area Denial. Bottom of round 2 for the Drukhari, they will draw Defend Stronghold and Sabotage as their secondaries for the turn. They control 1 objective and will score 5 points on primary. Start of the movement phase, the Archon and Warriors will fall back from the Terminators. Archon will move in on the 2 Thunderwolf Cav unit. Scourges are going to gain line of sight on the Vindicator. Incubi will move towards the Combi Lieutenant. This will trigger the reactive move, and he will move to the other side of the building. Mandrakes will disembark, and the Venom will fall back into their deployment zone. And the final Venom will arrive from strategic reserves near the Incubi. Start of the shooting phase, the Mandrakes will fire into the Thunderwolf Cav, scoring a single wound. Scourges will spend a pain token and fire into the same unit, but only pick up a single model. They will fire and fade back into the building. Quick shooting phase, and we are on to charges. We start with the Archon making the charge into the Thunderwolf Cav. Incubi make the charge into the Combi Lieutenant with an 8. Mandrakes make the charge into the surviving Thunderwolf Cav with a 5, but Bjorn will fire Overwatch and picks up the remainder of the squad. Archon and the Exarch will spend a pain token and swing into the Thunderwolf Cav, managing to pick them up, which frees up the other Archon. Drazar and the Incubi swing into the Combi Lieutenant and take the character down. They will consolidate back onto the objective. That is going to end the turn for the Drukhari. They will discard Sabotage for a command point, and Defend Stronghold is ongoing. Top of round 3 for the Space Wolves, they will draw Display of Might and Defend Stronghold as their secondaries for the turn. They control 2 objectives and will score 10 points on primary. Oath of Moment is the Incubi squad. Bjorn will move 15 inches back towards the Incubi. Thunderwolf Cav will advance 3 inches to catch up with the Venom. Thunderwolf Cav will auto advance 9 inches to make it all the way around and surround all 3 Archons. Vindicator will take their place on the objective. Logan will begin to burn the center objective. Start of the shooting phase, the Vindicator fires into the Venom, taking it off the board, and 1 witch dies on the way out. Infiltrators fire into the witches, but no joy. Second Vindicator will split fire, sending the Stubber into the lone Archon, picking him up. and the Demolisher Cannon into the Warriors, picking them up as well. Arjac chucks his hammer at the nearby Archon, but no joy. Charge o'clock and Bjorn will make the charge into the Incubi. Soul Thunderwolf Cav makes it into the Venom. Arjac and company make it into one of the Archons. And the Thunderwolf Cav Brick will make the dual charge into both remaining Archons. Start of the fight phase, Bjorn will fail the leadership check and is battle shocked, swinging into the Incubi, and he only takes down one of them. Crackback is pretty potent, but he survives at 4 wounds. Lone Thunderwolf Cav swings into the Venom, picking it up. It will deadly demise, dealing 1 damage to the Cav and 1 to the nearby Scourges. Arjac into the Archon, and down he goes. Large Thunderwolf Cav Brick will swing into both Archons, unfortunately doing enough to pick them both up. They will consolidate back onto the nearby objective. That is going to end the turn for the Space Wolves, and the Drukhari are going to call it here, having minimal units left on the board. Space Wolves are going to score 4 points for Display of Might, 3 points for Defend Stronghold, and 5 more points for burning the center objective. Drukhari will get their defend for an additional 3 points. That is going to make the final score 49-18 in favor of the Space Wolves. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you made it this far in the video, consider dropping us a like and sharing us with a friend, as we would really appreciate it. That being said, it's all for today, so until next time, as always, my friends, happy gaming.